Welcome to Visionary Voices, the podcast dedicated to bringing you diverse, innovative leadership insights and actionable strategies for success. Join hosts Laura McNeil and Bob Madeiros as they explore the art and science of role model leadership through thought-provoking conversations with real professionals. Whether you're a seasoned leader or aspiring to excellence, Visionary Voices is your guide to navigating the complexities of your leadership journey.
Hi, and welcome to Visionary Voices. I'm Bob Madeiros, and I'll be hosting today's episode on the Sterling Leadership Fellows Program. Now, I'm excited to introduce my guest today, Phil Centonze, Managing Partner at Pods Impact LLC. Now, Phil is also the Director of the Sterling Leadership Fellows Development Program. Now, Phil brings over 25 years of experience in guiding and advising senior leaders across various sectors to enhance leadership capabilities and strategically improve business performance. Now, with 17 years spent as a Master Sterling Examiner and Baldrige Examiner, Phil is currently the lead judge for the Sterling Council's Governor's Award in Florida, the Georgia Oglethorpe Award, and the Sterling Manufacturing Business Excellence Award. Now, Phil's academic background includes a bachelor's degree in engineering from the United States Coast Guard Academy and an MBA from Florida International University in Miami. Well, welcome, Phil. How are you today?
Well, thank you, Bob. I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so glad you could join us. So, talk to me about this new Sterling Leadership Fellows Development Program.
Okay, well, the Sterling Leadership Fellows mission is to develop aspiring leaders by stimulating transformation from a management perspective to a leadership perspective and behavior to elevate professional and personal performance excellence as well as organizational performance excellence. So the Sterling Leadership Fellow is a mid or higher level leader showing interest in developing herself or himself, seeking new knowledge and influencing others as an aspirational, energetic, flexible, and resilient leader. The Sterling Leadership Fellows is comprised of 14 sessions, 8 virtual, 6 in person. Each session is themed to the Sterling core values and concepts to establish for the candidates, for the fellows, the foundation of what Sterling framework is and how the criteria that we use relates to embedding those core values and core concepts into an organization. And through this program, the individual fellow will be an expert, become an expert in understanding that fellowship program, understanding the Sterling framework for performance excellence, and being able to bring the expertise and the knowledge that's needed to help improve the home organization. So as I mentioned, each session is themed to one of the Sterling core values and concepts. As the program kicks off on April 30th, we're looking for the candidate applications by April 16th of this year. So the Sterling Fellows Development Program applications are due by April 16th this year, and with a kickoff on April 30th as a virtual meeting where we'll introduce the program, introduce the schedule to the fellows in the class, in the cohort, and we'll also introduce the Sterling core values and concepts, which are fundamental to the Sterling framework, and also talk about the organizational profile, which will be the first project that the fellows will undertake. And that project is for the fellow to go back to their home organization and develop the organizational profile if none has been developed before, or to update and validate the current organizational profile for that organization. And that is very important to this program because it will identify within the profile, it will identify a strategically important concept, a strategically important issue to the organization that the fellow will undertake in the next project, which is the capstone project, taking them through an entire process improvement, performance improvement activity from start to end. From identifying the particular issue, identifying the team of people who will work on that with the fellow in our program, and go through the performance improvement steps, which will be also part of our program to be taught. Take them through that, to a final result, which will in fact bring real results to the home organization. Again, that's a strategically important concept that will be taken from the organizational profile right through the entire capstone project to the end of the program. As part of the program and integrated into the program, the fellows will be attending not only the 2024 Sterling conference this year, but also the 2025. And in fact, the 2025 will be the culmination of the program. We're calling graduation week, where there'll be a graduation ceremony, and the individuals will have completed their program and be certified as a Sterling Leadership Fellow. There are many presentations related to the core values and related to the Sterling framework throughout the entire 14 months, so that the individuals who are involved in this Sterling Leadership Fellows program will bring in knowledge that can be shared with their home organization, with their colleagues, their coworkers, their teammates back in the home organization throughout the entire program. And as I said, they will include teammates, people who are not in the program but will be working on the capstone project back at their home organization, who will be sponsoring the capstone project. In a nutshell, that's what the program looks like.
Excellent. Well, very good. Well, as I was listening to you talk there, it is interesting because it really is a hybrid delivery of combining both virtual sessions as well as these in-person sessions that you go to throughout the 14-month program. Now, how did you decide on that delivery model?
Well, that's a very good question. The important aspect of the hybrid is that the selected in-person sessions, which will run 1.5 to 2 days, as opposed to the virtual, which will be more like 3 hours. But for the in-person, we will actually be visiting various regions in Florida and Georgia. In fact, specifically, we'll be in the Atlanta region, we'll be in the Miami and the South Florida region, we'll be in the Tampa region, and we'll be in the Central Florida Space Coast region throughout. So those are 4 of the in-person sessions that we'll be conducting. And within each of those regions, we are drawing upon the role model companies, the role model organizations, companies that have already been involved in and won the Sterling Award or won the Oglethorpe Award when we talk about Atlanta. And they will share in their own knowledge and expertise and their experience about what they saw, what they did, how they got to be winners in each of those awards. And they'll be able to share that with the Sterling Leadership Fellows in the cohort, through presentations, through facility tours, through just networking and discussion. And that networking is also an extremely important part of the professional life of these leadership fellows, because it will provide them a network going forward, a support network, so to speak, in looking for assistance or looking for more knowledge and information later beyond the bounds of this program itself.
It's interesting, as I listen to you talk about this program, it really makes me think of some of these executive MBA programs that are out there. But, frankly speaking, I'm having kind of a hard time rationalizing paying between 5 and 20 times more for an executive MBA. What are your thoughts on the comparative value of this program?
Well, the executive MBA programs are good in most cases. I believe that what will be experienced by the individuals in the Leadership Fellows cohort um, is is very comparable to, if not in some cases, maybe even goes beyond what can be can be garnered from an MBA, executive MBA program. Again, this is a very trying to look for this word. The Sterling Leadership Fellows program is application oriented. So it's not just an academic exercise to listen and learn about different aspects of high performing organizations and essentially high performing leadership. But it's also the application of that knowledge, which is a key point, in our program. The application it'll be experienced through the capstone project completion and the work that's done in the capstone project, but also just in understanding and seeing directly, particularly in the in-person sessions, how the leadership connects with the workforce in their own organizations, and how those behaviors that the leaders apply can be learned and applied just as well by the leadership fellows when they go back and use this information, use this knowledge, and practice it in their own workplace.
Ah, very good. Yeah, it's interesting because it's almost like, um, you know, rather than waiting until they've got 15 to 18 years experience to be able to apply for an executive MBA, these folks, this target audience is kind of mid to, or can be a little bit before that. They can actually jump into getting this kind of a training without having to put in those 15 years.
That's right, and yeah, I wish there was something like this around when I was a little bit more darker haired. That the things that I've learned over all those years, while the hair turned this color of white, those things that I have learned all that time, I think would have been much more useful to me throughout the rest of those years if I had had this kind of information, this kind of knowledge, and being able to interact with such experts as the role models that we have around our region, the experts in their organizations, the experts at leadership behaviors, and so on.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That's a really good point. Uh, I really love how you've developed this program so that it really is applied learning, and that capstone project built into it. I look back from my old Six Sigma days, and, that's how we had to go through DMAIC. We had to apply it to a project. And, what better way to get a return on investment for an organization than to tie what this training is doing into a strategic project that's really important to the business. So I commend you on being able to do that.
I was going to say the application of knowledge in the capstone project was a key part. As our steering team in developing this entire program met and discussed what was necessary, what did we really need to bring to a sterling leadership program that develops leaders, develops leadership behaviors that result in high performing organizations. And what we found was that application, that hands on, it's all well and good to have the knowledge academically, but the hands on is extremely important for real value. And that's what we bring with the program, is real value to the organization, besides the direct value of the integrated uh, conferences and the South Florida Summit and pre-conference workshops and all those things, that the performance improvement training, all those things that we bring. Besides all that, the real value is in that hands-on being able to use what you know and learn from that as well. So the learning is exponential beyond just the training and the development that we provide in this program.
So, with that in mind, what kinds of capstone projects do you expect to see? What are some examples?
Well, that's really a wide spectrum. It could be
Okay.
focused. Most likely, it'll be a strategic challenge. It'll be around a strategic challenge that's experienced by the organization, and that will show up directly in the organization profile. As you know, the profile asks specifically, what are your strategic challenges as an organization? And a strategic challenge, just as a reminder, a strategic challenge is really a challenge that might affect not just the success of the organization, but the survival of the organization. So it goes beyond just success. And so, something like that is obviously strategically important to a company, to an organization, and that's an area where the fellow can work on with the team. So, as I said, most probably a strategic project, the capstone project, will come from the strategic challenge of an organization, but there may be other issues as well. There may be other important issues that the organization is facing that they need assistance and they really need some results for.
Well, Phil, I really appreciate all that you shared today on the Sterling Leadership Fellows Development Program. Now, folks, you can go to sterlingfellows.org for more information on the program. Phil, thanks again for joining us today, and it's really been a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you, Bob, man. It's always a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of Visionary Voices, Insights for Role Model Leadership. Discover more and connect with us at sterlingvisionaryvoices.com.